Alright, let's talk about boosters in Helldivers 2, because if you're dropping into battle without thinking about them, you're leaving power on the table. Boosters are passive buffs you equip alongside your stratagems, and the important part is this: they affect the entire squad. In a full 4-player team, everyone brings one booster, and together, they can completely change how a mission plays out. Whether you're fighting endless Terminid swarms, dodging automaton fire, or dealing with the Illuminate, the right booster setup can be the difference between a clean extraction and a total wipe. Now here's the problem: there are a lot of boosters spread across multiple war bonds, and not all of them are created equal. New players especially might unlock something and think, this sounds good, only to realize later it barely makes an impact. That's exactly why we're here. In this video, we're breaking down the best boosters in Helldivers 2 and ranking them in a clear, no-nonsense booster tier list. We'll talk about which ones are must-picks, which are situational, and which ones you can safely skip, so you and your squad can spread democracy as efficiently as possible. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking boosters in Helldivers 2. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The boosters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: UAV Recon Booster, Expert Extraction Pilot, Increased Reinforcement Budget, Flexible Reinforcement Budget, Motivational Shocks, Firebomb Hell Pods, Stun Pods, and Localization Confusion. Let's be honest for a second, this is the tier where boosters technically exist, but emotionally, they've already checked out. Welcome to C tier, where everything sounds useful on paper and then quietly disappoints you the moment boots hit the ground. First up, UAV Recon Booster. Yes, increasing the radar distance by 50% sounds spicy, and sure, seeing enemy patrols and points of interest from farther away can help you sneak around a bit. But in practice, you end up glued to the map more than actually playing the game. Helldivers 2 is chaos, not Google Maps simulator, and this booster turns into busy work real fast. Then we have Expert Extraction Pilot, which reduces extraction time. On paper, faster extraction sounds great, until you realize half your squad is usually across the map, fighting for their lives, carrying samples, or getting ragdolled by automatons. Cutting extraction time mostly just increases the chance of leaving teammates behind. It's nice for speedrunning or protecting samples, but for normal missions, it's more stressful than helpful. Next is Increased Reinforcement Budget, and honestly, this one hurts the most. Gaining just one extra reinforcement per Helldiver sounds fine, until you realize how fast lives disappear on higher difficulties. If your team is relying on this booster to survive, the real fix might be turning the difficulty down a notch. One extra life is not saving a collapsing mission. Closely related is Flexible Reinforcement Budget, which lowers the reinforcement cooldown from 120 seconds to 90 seconds. That 30-second difference feels meaningful until you're completely out of reinforcements and everyone is screaming into their microphones. At that point, 90 seconds or 2 minutes makes zero emotional difference. You're still doomed. Now let's talk about Motivational Shocks. This booster tries really hard to be muscle enhancements, but just doesn't have the stats to back it up. It mainly helps you avoid being slowed by Terminid acid and friendly stun effects, which is fine. But compared to actually improving movement across the board, it feels like a discount version you found at the back of the armory. Firebomb Hellpod sounds awesome until you see it in action. When a Hellpod drops, fire surrounds it, trapping your own gear inside a spicy ring of inconvenience. The fire barely damages enemies unless they were already standing there, and most of the time it just delays you from grabbing what you dropped. Nothing like waiting for flames to die down while enemies politely shoot you. Then there are stun pods, which give Hellpods a shock effect when they land. In theory, stunning enemies sounds great. In reality, you or your teammates get stunned way more often than the enemies do. It's like the game looked at crowd control and said, what if this punished the players instead? Finally, Localization Confusion. This booster slows down the random spawning of enemy patrols, which sounds useful until you remember that enemies still guard objectives and still arrive through reinforcements. So yes, there might be fewer surprise patrols, but the real fights remain exactly the same. It ends up feeling like a change you barely notice unless you're actively trying to notice it. And that's C tier in a nutshell. Not completely useless, but rarely the reason a mission succeeds. These boosters won't sabotage you outright, but they definitely won't carry you either. If Helldivers 2 is about spreading managed democracy efficiently, these are the tools that politely clap from the sidelines. The boosters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Dead Sprint, Armed Resupply Pods, and Sample Extricator. Now we're stepping into B tier, which is that awkward middle ground where boosters are actually useful but still come with a tiny, yeah but, attached. These aren't game changers, but they do pull their weight when used in the right situations, and that alone already puts them leagues above the lower tiers. First up is Dead Sprint, and this one is a classic risk versus convenience deal. It lets Helldivers keep sprinting even when stamina is completely empty at the cost of slowly draining health. The good news is, the health drain is minor and you cannot actually die from it, so the game won't let you sprint yourself into a grave. The bad news is that it still feels annoying to watch your health tick down when you could just slow to a jog for a second. It's fantastic for clutch escapes and last-second objective runs, but it definitely encourages bad cardio habits. Then we have Armed Resupply Pods, which honestly feels like a booster that knows exactly what it wants to be. Dropping a resupply stratagem now comes with a turret mounted on top, and that extra automated gun can do real work. In defensive missions especially, it fits perfectly into turret-heavy setups, letting you restock ammo while something else handles crowd control. It's not flashy, but extra bullets flying in the right direction are never a bad thing in Helldivers 2. Rounding out B tier is Sample Extricator, and this one quietly carries a lot of value. It gives you a chance to generate up to 10 additional common samples during a mission, which is huge for players trying to upgrade their ship. Beginners love it, veterans still grinding upgrades appreciate it, and nobody complains about walking out with more samples than expected. It might not help you survive a firefight, but it absolutely helps future you. The boosters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Experimental Infusion, Sample Scanner, and Concealed Insertion. Now we're firmly in A tier, and this is where boosters start feeling like they actually change how a mission plays out. These aren't just nice bonuses anymore, they actively save runs, reduce stress, and make bad situations way more manageable when everything is going sideways. First up is Experimental Infusion, and this one is pure clutch energy. Stims now boost your movement speed and give you stronger damage reduction, which is incredible when you're surrounded and need to reposition fast or survive something that absolutely should have killed you. The downside is pretty obvious though, you only have so many stims and no amount of speed or damage reduction will save you if you're completely boxed in by enemies. Used smartly, this booster turns stims into emergency escape buttons instead of just healing items. Next is Sample Scanner, the dream booster for anyone grinding ship upgrades. Every time you pick up a sample, there is a 15% chance you get double the amount instead. Over an entire mission, that adds up fast, especially on longer runs. It does nothing flashy during combat, but when you're back on the ship and upgrades start unlocking faster than expected, you really feel the impact. Finally, Concealed Insertion is one of those boosters that quietly prevents disasters. Every Hellpod drop, whether it's a Helldiver reinforcing or a stratagem being deployed, creates a smokescreen on impact. That cloud breaks enemy line of sight, confuses them, and gives you precious seconds to escape, reload, or reposition. It won't win fights for you, but it gives you control over chaos, and in Helldivers 2, that's priceless. The boosters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hellpod Space Optimization, Vitality Enhancement, Muscle Enhancement, and Stamina Enhancement. This is the tier where boosters stop asking politely and start hard carrying entire missions. S tier is all about consistency, survivability, and movement, which just so happens to be everything Helldivers 2 tries to take away from you at the worst possible moments. Hellpod Space Optimization is absurdly good, especially in messy missions. Dropping in with full magazines, full stims, and full grenades means you are combat ready the second your boots hit the ground. No panic resupplies, no scavenging from half-empty supply boxes, just straight into the fight. It shines the most when your team is dying a lot, but even in cleaner runs, the reduced downtime alone makes it worth the slot. Vitality Enhancement is pure survivability, and it never stops working. The constant damage reduction lets your armor take more punishment before you go down, and slowing the effects of bleeding, burning, and other damage over time gives you a much bigger window to stim and recover. This booster doesn't save you in flashy ways, it just quietly keeps you alive when you realistically should not be. Muscle Enhancement is the ultimate quality of life booster that turns into a combat advantage. Difficult terrain like water, tall grass, snow, explosive plants, and other environmental hazards normally slow you to a crawl, but this booster basically tells terrain to mind its own business. Being able to move freely while enemies struggle through the environment is massive, especially on planets designed to punish movement. And finally, stamina enhancement, the booster that never feels bad to bring. Increased stamina capacity and faster recovery mean you can sprint toward objectives, reposition during fights, or run for your life without watching your stamina bar betray you. When stamina runs out in Helldivers 2, death usually follows shortly after, and this booster makes sure that situation happens a lot less often. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.